Folks, once again, we welcome you to our Renters Coliseum and tonight's exciting $8,000 Lugano Diamonds welcome class here this evening. Exciting show jumping up in just a few short moments, and truly excited about the upcoming World Cup finals here in Fort Worth in 2026, April 8th through the 12th, coming up right next door at the DP's Coliseum. Tonight we have a time first jump-off event. The course designer has designed a course that took 12 numbered obstacles and 15 efforts on the course. We have a time allowed set at 77 seconds based upon the length of the course here this evening. And the time falls at 1 per second, or a second over the time. Knockouts and refusals are 4. Second refusal will eliminate. And if any other scoring situations come up during the class, we'll certainly be happy to point those out to you. Our charge of our scoring are members of the ground jury, including our president, Leslie Brown from the United States, Mr. Jerry Good from Hong Kong, and Blake Douglas from the United States. Our foreign judge from Mexico, we welcome Norma Rodriguez, our course designer, Mr. Anderson Lima from Mexico, and our assistant course designer, Mr. Puerto Rico, Mauricio Garcia Esteras. Chief Stewart Dan Brady from the United States, and we'll be underway here shortly. Now, again, as I mentioned, the format is a time first jump-off event, and we will bring back the clear rounds to separate any of those ties for the thrilling jump-off at the end. Our class sponsor will be Lugano Diamonds, to serve as the proud title sponsor here at our 2023 Lugano Jumping Tour. As a passionate supporter of the equestrian community and development of equestrian collection of study, equestrian inspired works of art. For more information, you can visit LuganoDiamonds.com. And of course, we can't forget Longines' passion for the equestrian world. It's back to 1869. Today, the brand is involved in most important equestrian events all around the world. This special occasion, we highlight the official Longines match of the event of Longines Unique, Dolce Vita line, with its discreet profile, classic styling, and aesthetic variations that are at once timely and timeless. It's a masterpiece that exquisitely expresses in equal parts Longines' fine luxury and contemporary elegance. So, an exciting class coming up. We've got riders that are ranked in the top 20 of the world standings on the Longines rider ranking list. They will be putting on quite a show for us here very shortly, starting right at 7:30. We are expecting a total of 26 horse rider nominations. 8 countries will be represented.
Well, hello and welcome to the Will Rogers Memorial Coliseum here in Fort Worth, Texas. The Fort Worth International playing host to the latest leg of the Lugano Diamond Split Rock Jumping Tour, this Longines FEI Jumping World Cup weekend, part of the North American League. We have our welcome competition tonight, an $80,000 world ranking class sponsored by Lugano Diamonds, a jump ball format meter 50 class set by Anderson Lima. Got 26 going to post. We've got a very, very exciting field here, starting with Colleen Costa, Andrew Burns and C Top Blue, the horse that's been so well placed in several top 5-star Nations Cup Grand Prix this year. One from the world's top 10, Shane Sweetnam rides two-handed here at the show as well, as does Austrian competitor based here in Texas and in the Dallas Metroplex area, Peter Petschenig. We've got Will Simpson, US Olympian. We've got Nico Gamboa, Nico, the young rider for Colombia who made his debut at the Pan American Games. You see a second ride there for Great Britain's Jess Mendoza, multiple winner on the Split Rock Jumping Tour Grand Prix Series and championship rider for Great Britain. Spencer Britton gave us our very first clear in the two-phase special yesterday. We've got Al-Walid Al-Rashid there for Iraq, one of 8 nations, and we've got Chilean Olympian Samuel Parro. Samuel, who had a fantastic win in the Aiken Grand Prix on the Split Rock Jumping Tour earlier on this season. Well, Anderson Lima sets a 77 seconds time allowed, 12 obstacles, 15 jumping efforts. Meter 50 is our specification, and it's an interesting course when we get to it. We've got a triple combination coming up quite late on and finishing over the Longines FEI Jumping World Cup fence there, which is set just inside the in-gate. It is a tough course. I think it's going to really help them get into the shape and how this ring might ride on a busier Saturday night. We've had excellent crowds here in the 2 preceding years. We've also had 2 Irish wins in a row. So the fact that we've got Dara Kenny, Shane Sweetnam and Andrew Burns all here for Ireland shows that Ireland are not going to let this one get away from them if they possibly can. Looking to make it 3 Irish wins in a row, following in the footsteps of Conor Swell and also then of last year's winner, Daniel Coyle. Well, in preparation for this major competition, we're going to be welcoming our anthem singer here to set the scene with the singing of the national anthem of the United States of America.
We'd like to introduce Longines Gomez. As you rise, remove your hats as Madeline Gomez sings our national anthem.
Madeline Gomez singing the national anthem here in the Will Rogers Memorial Coliseum tonight as we get ready for the first of our 26 competitors here to take on this track with a 77 seconds time allowed. Jump off format, all of those in the quality of first place on penalties will come back for a jump off over a shortened course. Quite a small field, but you might say, well, potentially gives the opportunity that we might not have a jump off, but there is serious talent in there as well. We ended up delivering quite a few clears in the 2-phase special last night. Let's see what that means when we go on today into our first jump off format class. The same format, of course, that we'll use for the Longines FEI Jumping World Cup here come Saturday evening in Texas. Colleen Acosta is going to be our first to go here with us tonight in Fort Worth. Rider who jumped the World Cup Tour here in the last 2 years actually, hailing from Parker, Texas, Colleen, with K Costa LLC's Longines. Longines and Colleen were double clean last night over both phases of the Meter 45 World Ranking 2-phase special. So ending up in 11th position. What can they do tonight? Samuel Paro, Matt Seifert amongst those on the kiss and cry. Shane Sweetnam all watching how this track jumps early on. He's got a line going away from the ingate. You see Longines, the 12-year-old mare by Eldorado van der Zeschuk, just hanging a little bit on Colleen going up that first line. He's been quite steady here, dropping into the distance down to the October Hill Farm double. And now you've got this turn. These turns at either end of the ring, but particularly this end of the ring with the ingate, quite influential last night. He's got a big boxy oxer there, the Lugano, and then up to the very, very delicate vertical at the top of the ring. Looking for that triple bar at 7 to maybe push them a little bit into the distance down to the full meter 50 Dalman Jump Company vertical. So their 8 strides takes them in quite close to that ESI footing fence at 10. It's the first problem on course for Colleen. It's not jumping badly at all, but, you know, it becomes a long course, and it's mentally quite tough as well because you're inside, you're under the lights, you're jumping later than the horses might otherwise be used to as well. 75.49, so that's an interesting reference time as well. It shows the time is relatively snug, and we'll see a few hours they'll pick up maybe a little bit more of a pace, but she leaves everything standing in the triple combination line, and that last coming in on quite a difficult stride. So it is just the one down, 4 faults for Colleen Acosta and Longines. The night not necessarily over if we don't have any clear rounds, and our best faults total is 4. The 4s would come back and jump off. So 19-year-old Skylar Wyman. Skylar, who's actually at the show with 3 horses for the World Cup Tour. They were able to ride 3 last night. It's 2 tonight, and it goes down to 1 by the time of the World Cup. Say 19 years old, youngest rider with us, ranked in the top 10% of riders in the world, and having a good season. This horse, Satoki, a class winner recently at the Las Vegas and Sacramento legs of the World Cup Series in classes leading up to those World Cup qualifiers on the big Saturday nights at those shows. Skylar, who hails from California, coming to us from Bonsall, California. Had a really, really good final year in juniors as an 18-year-old, and, you know, not a bad year either to have picked up those couple of good indoor class wins. Now again, just that turn, she just wasn't quite on her spot, and Sitoki by Kitoki, as you'd expect, just ended up having to really reach to try and get Skylar out of trouble and get the back rail of that Lugano fence. To say, it feels like, and I think when you get into the specifications, it is the widest oxer on course, and of course all the oxers are going to be meter 45 in height, with the verticals in the main being meter 50. Actually, there's probably an oxer or 2 out there coming up on meter 50 itself. So a different one rail, but it is just one rail. And again, we're up into the 70s, 77 seconds time allowed. Skylar there just a lot more comfortably inside that time in 73.25. So 4 faults, and at the moment, those 4 faults sharing the lead. But Skylar, when we end up with a better fault score, Skylar will go out in front because she has the faster time than Colleen Acosta. Those who don't qualify for the jump-off will be ranked according to falls and time from this initial round of jumping. Well, the native of County Galway, Andrew Bournes, Andrew with his own and QBS Equestrian LLC's C Top Blue. Bourne Sport Horses in Galway and Wellington, Florida. A renowned sport horse operation. And C Top Blue came up through their European program, originally campaigned by Jenny Rankin. And this was one of the last horses purchased by Andrew's parents, including his now late mother. His father Richard was telling me that actually he and his wife had gone to the auction, looked at every single horse and independently marked up their catalogue with only one horse each, and it was this one, it was Blue. Couple of times well placed, right up there, podium and top 5 in 5-star Nations Cup Grand Prix this year. They've been to the Nations Cup finals for Ireland, and they've been on the winning Nations Cup team, including at Thunderbird in Langley, British Columbia, in the Longines FEI Jumping Nations Cup Series, the team jumping. So this competition well within them. But if horses were predictable, we wouldn't bother running the classes, we'd just run the stats. Andrew, most recently in World Cup action up at the Royal in Toronto, and he's going to be our first clear round tonight. Yes, he is. He clears that Longines FEI jumping fence. Andrew Burns and C Top Blue. Clear round number 1. Exemplary round of jumping there from Andrew. So Andrew is clear round number 1. Now we need clears to give us a jump off. So big smiles from Andrew Bournes as he leaves the ring. From Ireland we go to Great Britain. Jess Mendoza. Jess from inside the world's top 150 on the Longines rankings at the moment. Also ridden for her country at the Nations Cup finals, and in addition rode at the European Championships back in Aachen in 2015 when the British team were unlucky to miss out on a team medal. Jessica, several times a winner of Grand Prix on the Split Rock Jumping Tour, running coast to coast here in the United States. Jessica here with ICAP CLZ, most recently in the World Cup Tour at Toronto, and also went very well in competition during the National Horse Show in Lexington, Kentucky. To see Jessica really just using that long sweeping turn from the October Hill back to the Lugano to adjust and get the horse back into the shape and the canter she wants. Just quite a delicate bending line down there from 7 to 8. And again, another one of these turns going away from the in-gate to a delicate vertical. It's vertical to vertical there on that tight turn, Dalman to Split Rock. Just here the tap out of the A element, drifts a little bit to the right, so is she going to have the adjustment necessary? The horse has to work hard over that last oxer, but they get there, they get it done. That is clear round for Jessica Mendoza and ICAP CLZ. So we have a jump off in our hands, Ireland versus Britain so far, and there are 8 late nations, no less, represented in the starting field here of just 26 riders, just showing the international nature of the sport here in North America and the attraction of this Fort Worth leg of the World Cup Series 2 riders. So let's see if we can get one into the jump off for the United States of America as we take forward the rider who hails from Virginia, Karma Godek. Karma with Connie 409. One of 2 rides that Connie had, that Karma had last night in the October Hill Farm 2 phase. She was top 10 with her other ride, Charissa. It will see just after the drag break. Karma again has ridden a couple of the World Cup tours this year over on the East Coast, Washington International Horse Show, the National Horse Show, and then actually rode the World Cup leg at Las Vegas. This horse, Connie, a little bit younger, just 9 years old, so towards the younger end of starting field of horses. And Karma will just be, I think, a little bit delicate in here tonight. They ended up with quite a few faults last night. Just time coming into play as well after they had a problem or two, and Karma just really lowered the temperature on her round and just took it very, very steady. And yeah, so she just wanted to try and be careful in here tonight to try and make sure that this horse, Connie, had a nice experience here indoors. Unfortunately, it just doesn't work out. They just take a little bit of exception there to something about the line, the approach to the ESI fence with the water tray underneath. So Karma Godek, unfortunately, as a result of that fall, will be eliminated on course. Say Karma will have a second ride in due course. That's going to be Charissa. For the US ride, it's just up on her feet. Connie 409 being led away by her groom. I'm just going to, here in the Coliseum, give Karma as much time as she needs. There's absolutely no rush when it comes to horse or rider welfare and health. We'll make sure they're absolutely right. Our team of medics from the Fort Worth Fire Department right on hand there, assessing and chatting with Karma. There's Karma just going to walk out of the ring. That is nice to see. Of course, not how we wanted her round to end at all. And hopefully she'll be in good shape to come and ride her other horse, Charissa, a little bit later on. However, both of her horses did qualify. They became eligible for the World Cup tomorrow on Saturday night by dint of their performance last night. So she doesn't have to go on tonight if she doesn't wish to. So Nicholas Gamboa, based here in Texas, hails from Colombia, just 23 years old, made his championship debut at the Pan American Games at Quillota, the Grenadier Regiment Equitation School in Quillota, near Santiago de Chile, playing host to the equestrian events of the Pan American Games just recently. The Colombian team 6th at those games, jumping some very impressive meter 60 courses. Nico himself being very impressive with us here. He had 2 in the top 5 of last night's international class, including this one, Vittorio, for NKH LLC, coming 2nd in our opening world ranking class. Nico already top 10 this year in World Cup action in Sacramento and in Las Vegas. Quite daring down that line, but he knows these horses inside out. A lot of them would be coming into his hands to compete this year, but he's been riding the NKH horses and the October Hill horses for a lot of years. Erin Davis Heineking and her family close in behind this show as well, as is the city of Fort Worth. And that's a shame, but it just as we said, these turns, and he used that turn twice going past the in-gate last night, got an effect. He has it twice going past the in-gate tonight as well, plus the first going away from the in-gate, and just that tight rollback. Dalman to Split Rock catches out Nico here with his last night's runner-up. Just see the hands come up. He just takes a real balance and reset and then sees his spot down to the last. 71.24 with the 4 faults. We've got 2 for the jump off, and now 71.24 is our fastest 4 faulter going into third position for Nico Gambo. And again, Nico is a rider we will see come back, I think. Yeah, just after the break, he'll be back with his other horse from the top 5 yesterday, NKH Mr. Darcy. Yeah, our highest ranked rider here at the show from the world's top 10 on the Longines rankings, Ireland Shane Sweetnam with his own and VoQuest LLC's R.R. Combella. Shane, the winner this year with the wonderful James Conn Cruz of the Lexington, Kentucky National Horse Show leg of the World Cup Series. R.R. Combella, this horse, this mare by Cornet Delis, 9 years old, was runner-up in our Split Rock Jumping Tour Grand Prix in the Kentucky Horse Park in 3-star action in November. Here a real tap up there at number 2, but it doesn't go, and it might just serve to get the mare jumping a little cleaner. Serve as a touch of a wake-up call. The last warm-up here is pretty close in. They don't have long after their last jump to come down the chute and be in the ring, so it should all be still pretty fresh in these horses' minds. The preparation the riders have put into them over the triple bar for Shane Sweetnam. Shane will be getting ready to base himself in Florida for the winter season, but also has that base with Spy Coast in the Lexington, Kentucky area. Of course, a lot of his summertime taken up with team duties for Ireland. He's ridden for them at the very, very top level, including being a championship medalist this summer in Milan. And there we are, 2 for Ireland in the jump-off. Shane Sweetnam and R.R. Combella are through. Clear round number 3 of the evening so far in our $80,000 Lugano Diamonds class. And we'll see Shane with a second ride as well. We've also yet to see last night's winning combination, Dara Kenny. Dara has 2 horses here. VDL Cartello, his Tokyo Olympic horse as well. He's going to rest Cartello tonight. I think Cartello is his choice for Saturday night's Longines FEI Jumping World Cup qualifier. But you'll see whether he can take the lion's share of $80,000 when we get to him last to go with California Pie. We move on, though, in our order here to Sabine Cooper. Sabine with Cormindy Farms Emerald mare Nazarene van der Axelhoven. One of the faster 4-falters last night for the pair that we saw in action in the World Cup at the Royal in Toronto. Jumped to the 5-star level this summer at Spruce Meadows, and indeed jumped very well with us during the course of the September-October meetings in the Kentucky Horse Park on the Split Rock Jumping Tour. First problem in the triple combination line, unfortunately for them, the A element down as they come home, and 72.73 on the clock. So such a shame, incredibly close to a clear round. Oh, front rail off the last as well. Sorry, I didn't just spot that immediately. The front rail, anyway, if you just look very, very close, you'll see yellow cups on the top rails and the front rails, and those are a little bit shallower, and it was the front rail off that final Longines FEI jumping fence that made it a total of 8 for Sabine Cooper and Nazarene van der Axelhoven. So Peter Petchenig is our next to go, the Austrian rider based here in Texas with It's the Senator. I say a super supporter of the Fort Worth International, jumped here each and every year from his base here in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex area. His other horse, Annabelle van het Postus, has been going very, very well in World Cup action this year, including a top 10 at Las Vegas. But this horse was the better of his 2 last night in the 2 phase. That's tough because it came in again. You've got that similar sort of turn. You've got to be right on your turn. You've got to have your spot as you come out, and the ends of this arena around it as well, which can sometimes lull you and make you feel, put you off your position that you might naturally otherwise be in. So they ended up having the Longines watch face down. Peter then also felt, I think, that the horse had just gone a little bit behind the legs. He saw him really kind of shake the reins and go for the October Hill double. And yeah, he got there, but at the cost maybe of losing a little bit of the quality of the jump. So that is what's put him on 8 faults, all down the far line of the ring. He sets up now for another set of jumps alongside the edge of the arena for this triple combination. Again, he gets this horse, It's the Senator, really wound up and going. So that is our biggest score to complete, unfortunately, for Peter Petschenning. In fact, it's our second on 8 faults, and Peter is the faster of the two 8 faulters, goes into 7th position. Bruno Diniz das Neves for Portugal. Bruno with Gucci mustard. Again, Bruno, we're going to see him with 2. He had 1 inside the top 10 with a clear last night. That's Carius that we'll see him on later. This horse, Gucci Mustard, a couple down yesterday in the 2 phase at meter 45. Will it all come together for them tonight over this little bit bigger course at meter 50? Of course, Saturday night we go up to meter 60, the highest in the sport, for that 4-star level World Cup qualifier. And of course, into the North American League this year, minimum 4-star required, or these last few seasons. Some of the shows running at 5-star level, and actually in the next evolution of the North American League, they will be going up to universally 5-star World Cup qualifiers, the equivalent of the Western European League as well. And that's you know, a real testament to the support for the North American League that has come in over the last 10 or so years. We've seen the raising of the standard of the World Cup qualifiers here from a mixture of 3 stars, some 4s, up to now a universal series of 5-star shows. Some exciting new venues going to come into play as well in the series that and seasons that will be the build-up to the finals here in Fort Worth in the Dickies Arena. So the cultural district here in Fort Worth with this enormous agricultural complex, with this Will Rogers Memorial Coliseum. The Coliseum for many years host to the Fort Worth Stock Show and Rodeo in its own right. Still a big part of that here, this Coliseum, but a new modern multi-sport space and events arena built a few years ago in a public-private partnership between the city and Bacchus. The Dickies Arena will be our host venue for those finals in 2026, and I have to say, looking forward to it enormously. And also looking forward to bringing dressage to the new West here in Fort Worth as well with those World Cup finals. It is 12 faults here for Bruno das Neves with the first ride, Gucci Mustard. Balibé de Rouet horse. So on the second rider maybe to have problems at the triple combination. US Olympic gold medalist Will Simpson goes next. Will with his own businesses, Chaco P, Will Simpson Stables, Chaco Blue horse, German bred, 14 years old now. Chaco P has been a tremendous servant to the rider who's ridden so many World Cup finals for the United States of America, and as I say, part of that gold medal winning team for the USA at the 2008 Olympic Games. A supporter, an enormous supporter of the Split Rock Jumping Tour Series. We see him time and time again at various venues, including this summer when Chaco P was top 10 in a Lugano Diamonds Grand Prix in Lexington, Kentucky. And then his other horse, Quentin VA, top 10 with us in Aiken in South Carolina just at the beginning of last month. And you can see how Chaco P just shakes the head a little bit because Will landed in over that big Longines watch face vertical and really sat the horse up because he knew exactly what he wanted going down to the October Hill. Well, knowing what he wanted, He still didn't quite get it going to the Lugano Diamonds Oxa. Again off one of these turns at the bottom end of the ring. It's really interesting just where I'm sitting live in the ring, looking straight up towards that triple bar, and the different lines people are taking, left of center, right of center, when they get there. And it really does end up affecting how they get the turn back to the split rock. You could end up kind of starting to knock the split rock jump by how you jump the triple bar. Oh, that was a cheap rail, unfortunately. Chaco P just got a little bit onward, just didn't quite finish the jump behind. Somewhat the same there at the front rail of the last. And that's, you know, a round that had quite an unlucky 4 early on at the Lugano suddenly turns into 12 with 2 late rails as Chaco P's jump just starts coming apart a little bit for Will Simpson. No better man to put it all together, though, for Saturday night. Let's see what they do when they come back to us for the World Cup. But that will be all we see of the US Olympic gold medalists tonight, finishing round 1 on a total of 12. Multiple winner of Split Rock Jumping Tour Grand Prix, including just recently in Aiken in South Carolina. This is Samuel Parro, Chilean Olympian. Continental Championship medalist, Pan American Games rider, World Games rider, and part of the Chilean campaign at the Olympic Games in London in 2012. Samuel with Cap West. From the 3 horses he has on the international tour, Cap West is the first of 2 we'll see from him tonight, with a restriction to 2 for this class. Actually, David Guetta, his Aiken Grand Prix winner, sits out tonight, and I think actually David Guetta is going to be his horse for Saturday night. Always such a fast rider. I think he slightly shortcut the turn up there, hoped to slightly pick up that vertical as he went, finishing his turn as he got there, rather than just going a little bit deeper into the ring. We saw this with this horse as well last night. It just has a little bit of a swing in the hindquarters, and it actually knocked the red flag off the back of the Lugano Diamonds fence by swinging its hind end. You have to be so careful with that, because, you know, if the horse touches the wing, which causes the whole fence to drop down, that is still penalized. Again, you know, what's fascinating when you sit and you start to think about these courses in the round is we've got, you know, this is our 12th competitor. We've seen so many different fences down already. It'll be a total of 8. It's 68.09 for Samuel Parro and Cap West. As I say, we will see Samuel back with us once again, with that Longines watch face and the A element of the triple combination down for the Chilean Olympian. So 4 Olympians in our field, as Samuel one of them as he leaves the ring. We go on then to Savannah Hemby. Savannah with Juju VDM. Savannah and Juju jumped with us in June at the Kentucky Horse Park on the Split Rock Jumping Tour, and actually part of the international tour here with us last year as well at Fort Worth. Savannah, who's from right here in the Metroplex, from the other side, Dallas, Texas. Been a good supporter of those Kentucky June shows, ridden for them the last 2 years running, and this will be Savannah's just 2nd year competing at the FEI, the international level of the sport. See whether Savannah is going to go on for the first time this week into a World Cup class. It would be her World Cup debut. She did jump here last year, but didn't go on to the final moment, that meter 60 specification, 4-star specification World Cup qualifier on Saturday night. A 1-horse international rider as well with Juju VDM. Year-old Savannah making herself look a lot more experienced than her record might say against some of the big guns here. Riding a very polished round so far. And actually, I think maybe being a little bit conscious that 77 seconds is quite achievable. You don't have to worry about that. And if your horse is one that can make a good jump out of a slightly conservative pace, that you can try and really set up for everything. The A element of the triple combination, this is such a shame. Front rail off the last as well, 72.91. And actually, I think she a little bit hit and hurried. If Savannah had stayed in her rhythm, I think she'd have still got the time. But there's a good chance that last might have stayed. Savannah Hemby with 2 down, 8 faults, taking us to the halfway point of our Lugano Diamonds FEI welcome, the $80,000 Longines World Ranking class. So as you can see, our ring crew quickly into action. Those are our clear rounds so far. Andrew Bournes for Ireland with C Top Blue, Jessica Mendoza, ICAP CLZ, and Shane Sweetenham and RR Combella. The home nation won't like that. We're going to see some real challenges from the US after the short break as well to try and join those raiders from Europe. And of course the Irish trying to make it 3 World Cup victories in a row here come Saturday night as well. We'll be back within 10 minutes here for the second half of the jumping in this initial round of the $80,000 Lugano Diamonds Welcome Qualifier from the Longines FEI Jumping World Cup Qualifier Fort Worth for 2023. Stay with us.
This is about bravery, a tribute to explorers, past and present, turning every second into a journey, constantly pushing the boundaries, making innovation a territory, so wherever your sense of adventure takes you, never lose track of time. Longines.
Time. Perfection takes time. Hours, days, years. Repetition, dedication, perseverance will take you further, lift you higher, make you stronger. Time is measured in seconds. Success and failure separated by fractions. Champions are created in time.
It all comes down to this time to beat to become the new Longines FEI Jumping World Cup champion.
Product must have credibility with us or we will not be comfortable to use it, even if it works like crazy. But the Perfect products had a fantastic reputation and the way they've been developed and formulated. And then I met Jeff and I started to realize why it was that way and why everybody had such confidence.
I'm Hope Hobday-Glenn.
Hey, I'm John Ramsey.
I'm Kelly McGrath.
My name is Nick Hannes.
Shannon Peters.
I'm Tracer Gilson.
I'm Tracy Brooks. Adrian Lyle.
John French.
And I trust.
And I trust.
And I trust.
This is Amy.
And this is Ian.
And we trust Perfect Products.
My name is Hannah Kleinditz, and I'm the owner and founder of Equestrian Closet.
We provide an online marketplace designed for equestrians to buy, sell, and share the equestrian lifestyle. Whether you are looking for a gently used show coat or looking to purge your closet and start new, Equestrian Closet is here for you.
C. Jarvis Insurance is the leading international equine insurance agency in the world. Our team of professionals is here to assist you 24/7, and we offer worldwide coverage for all aspects of equine insurance. We are owned and operated by a family of horsemen, so you can rest assured that we have a pulse on the industry, and we'll look out for you every step of the way.
Equestrian Services International, your one-stop shop for all your equestrian needs. ESI is committed to quality and service as we plant, nurture and grow personal and long-term relationships with each client. Let ESI design, develop and construct all of your equestrian dreams.
I share my life with them. I think we're lucky that we get to do what we do, and I've never looked at it as a sacrifice.
For me, being on a horse is the one place I can truly be myself.
They do have a language, you just have to learn how to speak it.
Remember that they feed
the lion's share of the points, hopefully propelling them on the way to the finals in Riyadh in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia in April of next year. Of course, Fort Worth with its own eye on the finals, so those finals here in the New West in Fort Worth, taking place in the spring of 2026. This same team running it, but in the brand new Dickies Arena as well, that has played host to the feature events of the Fort Worth Rodeo and Stock Show for the last number of years, since it was built on the edge of this Cultural District Agricultural Annex. In that public-private partnership, it really is a jewel in the crown of Fort Worth entertainment, and indeed recently given a #1 billing in Entertainment and Events Complex Awards. Nico Gamboa gets us back underway. Second ride for Nicholas with NKH Mr. Darcy this time. The horse that was a little bit lower placed last night, but this is his top Grand Prix horse at the moment. It was his Santiago Pan American Games horse. So whilst he didn't go all out, he kept the powder dry last night. And by that I mean he came 5th rather than winning the class. He hasn't quite scored a clear yet with his first to go Vittorio. But he really would like to get through to the jump off tonight, because that will really just help him try and move up and down the gears, try out the plan and the techniques that he wants to put into play on Saturday night. What a year it would be if young Nico, based of course here in Texas, just 23 years old, if he could put together not only his first championship appearance for Colombia, but then also a first World Cup podium, a first World Cup win perhaps. 4 faults in the middle part of the triple combination. The triple combination is Oxford vertical, vertical. It's quite delicate, it comes late on the course. That idea of, when you're running the last 5K of a half marathon or something, that you're kind of like driving a car with one flat tire, the fatigue, it's kind of just becomes a little bit mechanical. Then at that stage you're trying to see, and that's why they set these low, but Darcy really did take that out quite low at the top rail. So trying to see if she can have 2 in the jump off is Jessica Mendoza. This is Chuck Bass. Chuck Bass recently in Grand Prix action down in Wellington, Florida during their Holidays and Horses tour. Chuck Bass went very well at the National Horse Show, taking a top 10 there for Jessica. Championship and Nations Cup rider for Great Britain, based here in the US now for a good while. Is it a guarantee when you've jumped one clear that you can come in and jump another clear? It's certainly to your advantage. Just see Chuck Bass paddle a little bit in the air over that ESI. Maybe just caught a look at the water tray at the last moment, but he was so high in the air it really didn't matter when he had that moment of indecision. But horses are so different, their personalities are so different, that the plan that might work for one wouldn't necessarily work for another. But Jessica Mendoza riding the crest of a wave here at the moment. She is 2 for 2. She is clear, and she is going to be number 2 and potentially number 4 to go in the jump off. They should come back in the order in which they qualify. Other riders may choose to move up to help Jessica have a little bit more time, but they don't have to, so we might just have a little bit of a gappy jump off to come here. But I tell you, Jessica Mendoza, one to watch here. She's always been successful when she comes and jumps with us on the Split Rock Jumping Tour, be it in Lexington, Kentucky or Columbus, Ohio, where she's had good results in the past. And it's pleasing here to see Karma Godek back with us. Karma, who of course had that parting of the ways from Connie 409 in the first half of the draw, will look now to try and replicate the clear she jumped with Charissa here yesterday in our World Ranking 2-phase special opener. And again, just talking moments ago about how Jess Mendoza will feel, having jumped clear early on. Karma will try and be as professional as possible, but there's no doubt you're going to have a little bit of juju in your mind coming up to the ESI fence, which is where she had her problem on her earlier horse. So this moment coming up, you see her just opening the right hand, really trying to get Charissa to follow the line around to the Dalman so that she didn't end up there between two strides, and now pushes up to the ESI fence. As I say, just wants to get this one under her belt. Nicely done. So back in the game, Karma Godek, and still on the 0 score as well. Just goes to the voice. We hear a whoa coming to the C element. Just doesn't want to have that vertical down. And clear all the way, 74-70. 1 night at 2 halves for Karma Godek. Karma is clear round number 5 to come back to us so far in our Lugano Diamonds welcome here. $80,000 in the prize fund, and 5 looking to share it out amongst them in the jump off as things currently stand. So Jess Mendoza has 2. Could Shane Sweetenham have 2? Shane, one of our 4 Olympians in the field. And say, having won the Lexington leg of the Longines FEI Jumping World Cup Series this year with his European team silver medalist James Kahn-Cruz. Already in our jump off with R.R. Cumbella. And here rides Irindol Duflot. Both horses that Shane has here just 9 years old. Irindol Duflot went very well for a 2nd place finish in a recent meter 50 jump off class at the 4-star level down at the Wellington circuit. Say an awful lot of top Irish riders at every level, in fact, you know, make the journey across the Atlantic, build businesses for themselves over here, but then the challenge and family life as well, when you take Shane with his kids now becoming demon pony and junior riders as well. His wife Abby works very hard as trainer to the whole gang, but you know, coupling that career and lifestyle and family life here in America with the necessity to go so much to Europe to represent your team and be part of that structure. Irindol Duflot and Shane. Well, Shane also looking to make it the daily double, not quite. So again, you know, these sweeping turns, as I say, just the curvature at the end of these rings, I think just puts people slightly off their game. And we see quite a few times now the A element of that triple combination is gone. Shane, you know, when he looks back on it, he's going to be pretty pleased with how that 9-year-old has jumped that class, but he'll be disappointed to have just had that unlucky 4 going into the triple combination. So Shane won't have 2 in the jump off. It will be 2 for Jess Mendoza, but Shane Sweetenham will just have the 1, and that will be early on as well. Number 3 of 5 currently qualified will be Shane's ride in the jump off. Career World Cup finalist Jill Humphrey with Branscombe Farms LLC's Chromatic. Chromatic and Jill were already on the podium this year in the Las Vegas leg of the World Cup Series and top 10 at one of the opening legs in Sacramento. Jill pretty much on home soil when she rode at Sacramento. Hails from Sacramento, California. Actually a national class winner with us here this week as well, with part of her national string. A horse called Sonata BF, won the meter 30 earlier on. Going the right way about everything. Just remember this horse last night, really, you know, you can see his personality all over his face. You're really interested in what's going on. Just struggles, big horse, big frame. I think just struggled a tiny bit with the distance there inside the triple combination line. So Jill Humphrey, unfortunately, chromatic BF. It will be 4 faults for them. The time 69.82. They are actually hustling. So they go right up there. They are the best of the 4 faulters and into 6th position behind our 5 clears. Second ride now for Peter Petschenning. This is Annabel van het Pustus. Peter, who was top 5 yesterday in the October Hill Farm 2 phase with his other horse, It's the Senator. This mare, Annabel, was a single rail down yesterday, a little bit unlucky for a horse that we've seen in great form, taking a top 10 in the Las Vegas leg of the World Cup Series and also top 10 in one of our Lugano Diamond Split Rock Jumping Tour Grand Prix in Lexington, Kentucky in October. Peter's been jumping here. This is the conclusion of his 10th season jumping in the United States of America, and he has his base here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Oh, I thought he was just going to have that front rail down off the October Hill Farm, because he really just, like an angel dancing on a pinhead, you could really just see the horse touch and then let go of the front rail almost, of the B element. See that Peter's hands were really full of horse, and you get that a lot with the way this horse Annabel goes, but of course they know each other inside out. All of those good results tell you that. Just tossing her head and fussing a little bit around that turn, and again, even just that can put you a tiny bit off your distance in such a delicate triple combination line, but there it is. The more experienced of his 2 rides does the business today. It is clear for Peter Petschenning with Annabel van het Pustus, and Annabel is going to be clear round number 6 coming back to us. And remember, in theory, they should come back in the order in which they qualify, but we do, of course, have those 2 very close together on the qualification draw for Jess Mendoza. Andrew Bournes, Jessica Mendoza, Shane Sweetnam, Jessica Mendoza, Kalma Godek, and now Peter Petschenning are our 6 riders qualified. A second chance now for Bruno Diniz das Neves for Portugal. Portuguese rider based here in the United States of America with Carrios. Carrios was top 10 on a double clear in last night's 2 phase. Well, it hadn't gone yet, but as I said, oh gosh, it's a hunt 2 for 2. First and second fence down for Bruno here on 8 faults. Not really his day. They're having the Lugano Diamonds as well coming away from the end of the ring. He'll set up now for this line. No, I thought that might happen. He's going to call it a day. Now, Bruno, both of his horses completed yesterday's 2 phase, so he can still have the choice of either for the forthcoming World Cup. Be interested to see what way he goes. with Gucci Mustard having a few, but he really would have hoped that Karius could carry on the good form they showed yesterday for that top 10 with the clear round. But today it is retirement for Bruno Diniz das Neves and Karius for Portugal. Back to 19-year-old Skylar Wyman. Skylar owns and rides this one. It's a Diorado horse, Tornado, as we were mentioning last night on the live stream. Skylar, not only incredibly promising rider just out of junior, still eligible for young riders as well, here with no less than 3 horses for the World Cup Tour, all of which she looks after herself. A very impressive young professional in the sport. Tornado, just a single rail down yesterday. It was such a frustrating night for Skylar. Couldn't quite put together the clear on any of her 3 rides. And Satoki earlier on, again, it was 1 down. Can Tornado bring it in for the 9-year-old by Diorado from Swedish Warm Blood Stud Book? Tornado top 10 in the World Cup qualifier at Las Vegas, putting points on the board. On the road to Riyadh, top 10 also at Sacramento at the beginning of the season. California rider as well, so those Western World Cups are on her immediate radar, but with the points picked up, and if she gets good points here on Saturday night as well, it might be hi-ho to the East Coast and looking to see whether she can seal the deal at the Live Oak leg here in the United States. There's also Puebla in Mexico to come up after the new year as well. That will finalize the qualifiers from the North American League for those finals. And a lot of nations treat the finals quite different. What's very interesting about the United States is that they consider it a team. The riders who go representing the United States of America, and there are confirmed places for US, Canadian and Mexican riders rather than just being top athletes on the rankings. Like those in the Western European League. They wear the red coat of the US team, they go as a cohort with the team management there, and Skylar Wyman and Tornado, they deliver here tonight over this Lugano Diamonds meter 50 jump off course. And look at that, it has just been taken, it's taken 2 nights. That is Skylar's 5th round of jumping so far with us here in the International, but it's the one she's been waiting for. Her top 10 horse from World Cup qualifiers twice over is clear here now, and coming back for the jump off as clear round number 7, Skylar Wyman and Tornado. Another one of our younger riders, top 10 yesterday, actually gave us our first clear round in the October Hill Farms 2-phase. This is Skylar Wyman, Spencer Britton, my apologies. Spencer with Aman Equestrian LLC's Stacan by the team Nijhoff's Spartacus. Stacan top 10 in the Split Rock Jumping Tour Grand Prix in Lexington this spring. Summer, in fact, my apologies, in June. Spencer also riding throughout the Under-25 Tour at the Winter Equestrian Festival. Stacan was his horse for the finale Grand Prix of that series as well. Always hard fought. There's a lot of very, very talented young riders that do the circuit in Wellington and compete in those red-hot Under-25 series each and every week. Spencer's not going to have the bragging rights of a clear every day of the show, unfortunately, with that quite early rail. Not the first, probably won't be the last to have the A element of the triple combination down as well. And the last two, unfortunately. So Spencer Britton and Stacan, from being the very first clear round of the international tour here with us at Fort Worth. Tonight, unfortunately, it is 3 down, 12 faults for the young man from the United States. So quite a good selection of nations, 2 for Ireland, 2 for Great Britain, but they're both Jessica Mendoza, Karma Godek and Skylar Wyman for the United States of America, and Pete Pechenik for Austria. So 7 clears, 4 different nations. Go on to Olivia Cliver. Olivia here from Midland and Texas, a former international advanced eventer, jumped the World Cup Tour with us here 12 months ago. Olivia with the on-the-market equestrian LLC-owned Connor 69. Again, the nature of these indoor rings means, you know, you quite often you don't have that big wind-up approach. Anderson sets them up for quite a short approach into number 1, going away from the in-gate tonight. I know I keep referencing that in-gate, but, you know, it has a lure at every level of the sport. Right up to 5-star, the riders still consider it, and that's outdoors, but particularly indoors. It seems to always just have that slight magnetism. But again, you know, not a huge approach to the first. And it seems like Anderson Lima, our course designer, is setting up that idea in their minds that maybe they won't have a big approach on Saturday night either. They need to come in absolutely firing on all cylinders. So just so far carrying the 4 from the front rail at the October Hill double on the other side of the ring. Sets up for this long side. Straight as a die down through the triple combination. Olivia Cliver sees a good one at the last as well. It's 4 in 72.97. Goes into 12th place. Our fastest 4-faulter, Jill Humphrey, still holds on to 8th place at the moment. And 4 faults covering the spread from 8th right the way through to 14th. Of the 23 riders we've seen so far. Just a couple more to go. So again, a rider now who finds his home in the United States of America, been jumping here for a couple of seasons after a long break, having previously been prevalent on the European and Middle Eastern circuit, jumped at the Nations Cup show at Abu Dhabi and Sharjah. Al-Walid Al-Rashid with Royal Sport Horses RSH Grand Désert. Well, again, round came apart a little bit. Now, what's critical for Al-Walid is he needs to finish this round of jumping, because he actually retired mid-course in the 2-phase special last night, and because it's a 2-phase special, that is that even if you have faults in the first phase, you can progress to the second. Under that particular format, to have your horse qualified and eligible for the Grand Prix, you must complete both phases, and that's a little bit different to a standard 2-phase where if you can pull up after the first phase and your horse is Grand Prix qualified. So Walid maybe didn't just quite remember that in how he rode last night. So this is a little bit, you know, money down. He's all in on this class. So the rail's falling, but really the big victory here is getting to the finish line. The way the horse has jumped, Wally then has a decision to make about whether he wants to ride World Cup. So he's got 1 chance remaining. 2 stops and you're out. But I think Wally just felt the horse might have just taken off at the top rail of that fence rather than trying to go over it. I think he's pretty confident of finishing. And now the choice is his as to whether he rides World Cup. That's what I was winding up to say. He's eligible to go if he wishes, but of course with that big score here tonight and electing to retire mid-course of the 2-phase special, we'll see whether Wali Al-Rashid of Iraq elects to go World Cup with us here on Saturday night in Fort Worth, Texas. that class kicking off just like this one at 7:30 in the evening as well, if you want to set your reminders to join us for the action. So back to Samuel Parot. Tiffany de Olide is Samuel's ride. As I say, David Guetta, the third international horse he has here, a recent winner with us on the Split Rock Jumping Tour. Samuel, multiple winner on the Split Rock Jumping Tour. In addition, when you tot up the number of times he's simply been on the podium, in addition to his wins, shows that one, he's a very successful rider, but two, he's a great supporter of the Split Rock Jumping Tour series. There's about 14 or 15 dates on the calendar for next year, including a leg of the new revised North American League of Longines FEI World Cup Jumping, and that's going to be at the Santa Anita Racecourse. So representing Los Angeles, one of the biggest, media and population markets in the world, is going to have World Cup jumping under the banner of Split Rock as well. This team that has delivered this for 3 years and looks forward to delivering the finals will be delivering that show at Santa Anita at the 5-star level. It'll be outdoors at the incredible Santa Anita Racecourse. And of course, a little bit of history there with some of the equestrian events being held at Santa Anita for the Los Angeles 1984 Olympic Games. And of course, Olympic dreams coming to the West Coast again in the near future with the 2028 Olympic Games going to be in Los Angeles as well. Samuel, after a cracking night last night, is not going to feature here in our jump off and calls it a day there with Tiffany de Olide. What he did have yesterday was he completed all 3 horses, so he already had. Actually, Tiffany de Olide didn't complete. I think, as I said, he's already chosen that David Guetta will be his Grand Prix horse, the horse he doesn't ride here tonight, but Samuel Parot there electing to retire. So one more to go in this first round. Dara Kenny for Ireland is here with 2 rides. VDL Cartello, he rode last night. His Tokyo Olympic horse that settled in nicely in the order with a clear in our opening 2 phase for 6th place. This horse, though, California Pie, was last night's winner, the 11-year-old by Captain Cooper. Dara, one of our 4 Olympians jumping the World Cup Tour here. Dara again, who's spending more and more time here, but he has those responsibilities and commitments to team jumping for Ireland. He's also been a big part for many seasons of the Longines Global Champions Tour Series. He's picked up a couple of victories on that prestigious 5-star Grand Prix circuit. It's interesting also just in the planning and preparation that goes into these horses. Cartello jumped nicely last night. It's so easy for a horse of Cartello's quality to go relatively fast in comparison to less experienced horses, so without really trying, ending up 6th. This horse tries, wins easily. Cartello rests tonight, goes for the World Cup on Saturday, and California Pie comes to see if they can make it the double. And then it would be an Irish clean sweep as well if Ireland could take the win on Saturday. Could Dara Kenny do the clean sweep in his own right? But California Pie and Dara Kenny put 8 on the board for the jump off, and it is a very, very nice clear from the Irishman, and it means that 3 Irish riders out of 3 are qualified for our jump off. We're going to get that short course set up here in the Will Rogers Memorial Coliseum as we prepare to welcome back those 8 riders in due course. Again, it might be a little bit bitty, as Jess Mendoza has those 2 qualified close together. Andrew Bournes and C-Top Blue, Jess Mendoza, ICAP CL, then Shane and Aram Kambella, Jess again with Chuck Bass, Karma Godek second ride, Charissa qualified, Pete Petchenik second ride, Annabelle, a top 10 finisher in World Cup action, is a qualifier for Austria. And then just over the page, it's going to be Skylar Wireman and Tornado and Darrakeni California Pie. Just behind them, Jill Humphrey was the fastest 4-4-2 with Nico Gamboa in 10th and 11th. Shane Sweetnam rounds out the top 12 with
C. Jarvis Insurance is the leading international equine insurance agency in the world. Our team of professionals is here to assist you 24/7, and we offer worldwide coverage for all aspects of equine insurance. We are owned and operated by a family of horsemen, so you can rest assured that we have a pulse on the industry and will look out for you every step of the way.
This is about bravery, a tribute to explorers, past and present, turning every second into a journey, constantly pushing the boundaries, making innovation a territory, so wherever your sense of adventure takes you, never lose track of time. Longines.
Time. Perfection takes time. Hours, days, years. Repetition, dedication, perseverance will take you further, lift you higher, make you stronger. Time is measured in seconds. Success and failure separated by fractions. Champions are created in time.
It all comes down to this time to become the new 1.50m FEI Jumping World Cup champion.
product must have credibility with us or we will not be comfortable to use it, even if it works like crazy. But the Perfect products had a fantastic reputation and the way they've been developed and formulated. And then I met Jeff and I started to realize why it was that way and why everybody had such confidence.
I'm Hope Hobday-Glenn.
Hey, I'm John Ramsey.
I'm Kelly McGrath.
My name is Nick Hannes.
Shannon Peters.
I'm Tracer Gilson.
I'm Tracy Brooks. Adrian Lyle.
John French.
And I trust.
And I trust.
And I trust.
This is Amy.
And this is Ian.
And we trust Perfect products.
And I'm the owner and founder of Equestrian Closet.
We provide an online marketplace designed for equestrians to buy, sell, and share the equestrian lifestyle. Whether you are looking for a gently used show coat or looking to purge your closet and start new, Equestrian Closet is here for you.
Equestrian Services International, your one-stop shop for all your equestrian needs. ESI is committed to quality and service as we plant, nurture and grow personal and long-term relationships with each client. Let ESI design, develop and construct all of your equestrian dreams.
I share my life with them. I think we're lucky that we get to do what we do, and I've never looked at it as a sacrifice.
For me, being on a horse is the one place I can truly be myself.
They do have a language, you just have to learn how to speak it.
Remember that they feed off of our energies, and so if you're in a good mood or you're happy, they'll reflect that back.
You meet people from all over the world. You have friends that share the same passion for horses, and I think that's something very special.
Horses is the only constant thing in my life, and it will always be there when I need it. For me, it's connection.
They make me who I am.
It's very hard to explain. It's magical.
It's just who we are.
In one word, it's freedom.
For me, it's everything.
I'm Javin Dahlman with Dahlman Jump Co. Our easy-to-use aluminum schooling courses start at $65.99. We deliver them to your door and take your trade-ins. All of our jumps are backed by a lifetime warranty. Call and talk to an expert about your hunter, jumper, and equitation jump needs. You can even make your own custom designs. Get horse show ready with Dahlman.
You don't like to tempt fate, but you've got to think about this track because you don't get a walk again.
Oh, no, absolutely. And you walk that first round, you also walk the jump off and make a little bit of a plan there. You talk to the course designer a little bit and kind of see what comes out of the ring, and instead he's leaving it open, so it's a pretty quick field.
Tell me just about one line because we're going to jump it's all about instinct, and let's see what instinct got. 8 riders to come out in this $80,000 Lugano Diamonds Welcome jump off coming up.
Thanks, John. And of course, that's been short by our course designer, Anderson Lee. I'm going to take you quickly around the course. We're a minute away from our first course of underhand course. The first jump will be fence number 14, which is number 1 reverse. That's the Jarvis insurance jump. They'll be jumping that back towards our trigger location and the gate. After that, we'll go in front of the fence number 9, split on vertical, and up to 10 ESI observed vertical. Then a right-handed turn to 11 E and B. Then on the fence number 2, going away from the gate to the top end of the green. Back over fence number 3, the launching vertical, and a yellow ball over the Lugano concert at number 15 as they head for home. And hopefully a good run and winning time in our $80,000 Lugano Diamonds Grand Prix qualifying event.
So welcome back to Fort Worth. We have 8 qualified for the jump off here in our welcome, our $80,000 Lugano Diamond sponsored welcome over a shortened course. It's actually going to start over the Jarvis fence, but jumping in the opposite direction to before. Then it'll go the line, split rock, number 9, up to number 10, ESI footing, and then what has been a tough turn back to the triple combination, 11A, 11B. And they need to be conscious of not wasting the vertical because they're going to jump out over that brown and white vertical at what was the triple combination and take a very, very tight turn back to what was number 2 around the right shoulder. Then it's the line number 3, the Longines fence with the watch faces coming down to the Lugano Diamonds Big Oxer. Andrew Bournes is going to show us the way. I'll see whether it's going to be double clear for this very, very experienced 5-star in Nations Cup combination, Andrew Bournes. Andrew based in Wellington, Florida for a long time, having grown up, of course, at his family's farm. Beef and sport horses, all the same at Bournes Sport Horses in County Galway. I think Andrew's father, Richard, who's over this weekend, is enjoying his time here in Texas. Beef and horses, he'll feel right at home. Andrew gave us a clear pretty early on with C Top Blue, and as I said, it really just looked so secure. Andrew has just the one horse here. He'd really like to nail down victory in the World Cup here on Saturday night as well, so that might temper exactly how fast he goes. The other thing is, though, whilst we have a hugely experienced rider here, and this is great for the other riders, he is still riding blind. There's no information except what he's finding out moment by moment on this round. Still clear at the moment. C Top Blue makes a great shape over that Longines fence. He pushes on down to the Lugano. It's double clear, 35-15 for first to go, Andrew Burns and C Top Blue. How much is that going to be worth in the long run? At the moment, he's got 1 foot on the top step of the podium. So the only rider double-handed in the jump-off is Jess Mendoza. British Championship rider Jessica with her own and Sarah Mendoza's ICAP CLZ by I'm Special de Muse. So 35-15 to beat. And again, you take a 5-star horse like C Top Blue and they can be deceptively fast because they've just got the natural ability and experience to pick up a little bit of a faster rhythm. So don't feel that there's so much meat on the bone. It didn't look, it didn't look like Scrubby. It didn't look like Andrew Burns had his legs and his elbows going every stride of the way, but he could still be very, very pacey. Jess, unfortunately there, that first line, going to have the ESI down, and say that probably was, a little bit in the balance. Were you going to have the ESI down, or were you going to land off that sort of stride and maybe have the A element of what was the triple combination down? I'd say that turn back from the vertical to number 2 is kind of where this could be won. Also, an all-out charge down here if you can try and really do a leave-out stride. 37.65 with the 4 faults, but Jess with quite an early rail will know to have just, wound it back down. She won't have quite gone into top gear, having that early rail. So we'll see how quickly Jess can turn around her second horse. As I say, we might just have a little bit of a pause in proceedings in this jump off, because Jessica was both the second and the fourth combination to qualify. So between those two qualifiers was this one for Shane Sweetnam. Shane, Irish Olympian, championship medalist this year, recently returned from jumping in the IJRC World Top 10 competition in Geneva. He does sit in 10th place on the Longines FEI World Rider Rankings. Won the Lexington, Kentucky National Horse Show leg of the World Cup Series this year with James Carlton Cruz, and has two very, very high quality younger horses, both 9 years old, with us here for Fort Worth this weekend. It's a good turn here. He's being very positive about this. Rides a slight bowing line so that he's landing over the ESI in the direction he wants to go, shortening up the distance. He doesn't try too hard to turn in the air, but he's incredibly prompt on landing, getting around, hunting around to number 2. 35 from teammate Andrew Bournes to beat, 35.15. And Shane Sweetnam is right there in front, 33.81. So it's an Irish 1-2 so far. 3 Irish riders at the show, all qualified for our jump off. So 33.81, the new time to beat here in the $80,000 Lugano Diamonds Welcome. Officially listed as a qualifier class, but with fewer than 40 athletes at the show. As long as they all have a horse qualified for the Grand Prix, they are all eligible to start in that Longines FEI Jumping World Cup class on Saturday night. So to say, this is the moment where Jessica Mendoza, this is the slot she qualified for, but with Chuck Bass, she will have probably not even almost been out of the saddle of ICAP CLZ. The stewards will be talking to the other riders if they wish to volunteer to move up in the order, but in the main, they'll probably want to hold on to their slot. I think Anderson will be very pleased. Out of 26 rides to have 8 clears, and you know, the real cream rising to the top as well in those 8 clears. But he will always feel, I think a designer will always feel that the welcome, you know, it's designed to be welcoming. So they'll probably expect a few more clears. If this was a 40-horse class, Anderson would probably be very tolerable of 12 or 14 clear rounds, maybe more. But when it comes to World Cup, out of 40, you kind of, that perfect number always feels like 7. And this feels like, you know, out of a similar size field on Saturday night, Anderson, by just amping it up a little bit more, and of course, you know, the verticals will go up to meter 60. The oxes will probably go up to meter 55 high, meter 50, 55 wide. On Saturday, that, you know, he can just reduce that number and get a real wham-bam jump off here to decide who takes the points on the road to Riyadh in the Longines FEI Jumping World Cup North American League. This is the final leg of the calendar year, with 2 more legs, Puebla in Mexico and Live Oak in Ocala, Florida, coming up after the turn of the new year. Already seen action this year at Sacramento, at Las Vegas, Lexington, Kentucky, the Washington International Horse Show at its new home in Upper Marlboro, Maryland, and the Royal Agricultural Winter Fair, flying the flag for Canada in Toronto. So it looks like Skylar Wireman has bitten the bullet and elected to move up. She did qualify as 7th to go. And Skylar, you could see how much it meant to her, our youngest rider, 19 years old, to jump that clear in the welcome earlier on. She had just been kind of our nearly rider with her 3 World Cup horses in last night's October Hill Farms two-phase special. And then not quite getting there with earlier ride in the class. Satoki So it was very, very pleasing for us all to see Tornado and Skylar go clear. Tornado and Skylar, 2 good results already in World Cup action out here in the West. And again, you don't become a professional in this sport without a strong competitive instinct, but by the same token, she'll be very, very pleased to walk away here tonight with a double clear as a setup for Saturday night when she can put it all on the table. It's a good turn back here. You know, you're up against Olympian and top championship medalist for Ireland. Ireland, the top nation going forward into the Longines League of Nations series. This is going to go into second place, 34.59. A great, great ride there from Skylar Wyman out of California with Tornado. Double clear for the youngest rider in the field here tonight. Is it going to be enough to hold on right the way through to an eventual podium finish? A lovely shot there. Just getting a real flyer at that last, the Lugano Diamonds Oxer. And here is Jess Mendoza. Pretty quick turnaround. Thanks to Jess and her team for making that happen for us. We haven't kept our audience here or you at home waiting too long to keep our class on the lines. And of course, thanks also to Skylar Wyman for very generously moving up. It seems like a very competitive rider handed away a little bit of competitive advantage. So Skylar Wyman in second at the moment. Let's see what Jess Mendoza does on Lucky Rail at the ESI Water Tray with her first ride, ICAP CLZ. Jess back this time with Helmo Stables, Chuck Bass by Centadel. I think the split rock, you know, we maybe not going to have enough variety of quality of horses in the jump off and maybe enough horses in the jump off to see the split rock go, but I think it's a tough turn there when you're trying to ride it at pace. Jess is carrying the 0 score at the moment. She comes back to what was fence 2. You see the horse lay a toe on that front rail. It wobbles in its light cups, but it stays. So 33.81 to beat. She's not there. She's behind Skylar Wyman. She's behind Andrew Burns. And the last goes as well. It's 4 faults for both of Jess Mendoza's jump-off rides, unfortunately. 37.14 for Jess. That goes into 4th. Her other ride drops down to 5th. Shane Sweetnam remains our leader, 33.81 with R.R. Cambella. So a real comeback for Karma Godek last time out, with Charissa having had the parting of the ways from her first ride, actually up at the ESO Water Tray, which stays in the course. It was very, very pleasing to see Karma out of her base in Virginia come and jump it clear here with Charissa by Clarimo out of a Casal mare. Clarimo and Casal, both very, very good horses from the Holsteiner stud book for Ralph Joran Bengtsson. I thought there could be a little bit of juju about the ESI. She was very, very ginger at it with this horse the second time out, having had her fall there off horse number 1. She takes away the rail this time, so it's a 4-fault jump-off round so far. Up in the same spot in the ring, she's going to have the front rail off number 2 as well. She'll bring it on home. There's no point in not finishing with just 8 in the jump-off. You never quite know what's going to happen to the others. It's 8 in 37 seconds for Karma Godek here, as we see our 6th of 8 complete the round here in the $80,000 class. 3 double clears leading the way: Shane Sweetnam, Skylar Wyman and Andrew Bournes. So Shane Sweetnam is guaranteed a podium with 2 remaining. It's interesting. I wonder whether Pete Petchening is maybe not running, because here is Dara Kenny. Dara was our 8th and last qualifier. Dara with last night's winner, California Pie. Dara not only an Olympian, but he has his Olympic horse, VDL Cartello, with him here in Fort Worth. And whilst his great form has been with this horse, California Pie, very, very difficult to look beyond him for victory on Saturday night. California Pie just made a real effort over that split rock as they turned up short to it, and then Dara had to get up out of the saddle, almost up into a jockey position to ride up forcefully to the ESI. He keeps after this horse, he keeps pushing and asking, and California Pie says, yes, okay, let's do it. 20, oh, it's gone. I think he probably just didn't ride at 10/10ths down that final line. I think there was a leave out he could have done there. 34.39, he is a tick-tock behind in terms of time, but it is 3 places behind for Dara Kenny in 34.39. And I can confirm that Pete Pechenik elected not to ride in the jump-off, so that concludes our jump-off here. And whilst it is a clean sweep for Ireland, the name changes. Dara Kenny and California Pie, last night's winners, leave the ring to finish in 4th place. It's going to be a podium for Andrew Burns in 3rd, Skylar Wyman in 2nd, and Shane Sweetnam and R.R. Combella are tonight's winners in 33.81. We hope the Irish haven't done it all early on, because they would be trying to make it 3 in a row in terms of World Cup wins here at Fort Worth as well. Connor Swell, winner in year 1. Last year, Daniel Coyle. This year, Andrew Burns, Dara Kenny, Shane Sweetnam, all look to be in great form. Peter Pechenik there still takes 8th place because he did qualify for that jump-off. Jill Humphrey, Nico Gamboa, 10th and 11th. Shane Sweetnam's other horse in 12th. Those are the prize-winning horses. We've got a few more 4-faulters bringing us down to 15th position. Samuel Parro, Olympian with Cap West. He'll be riding David Guetta, we believe, on Saturday night. We'll see how he does. Again, he's a real winning rider. He knows his way around a winning course. Will Simpson and Chaco P, don't let that result fool you. It could easily be right up towards the winner's circle here on Saturday night. Spencer Britton, our first clear round on night 1 as well. Let's see who lines out. Let's see who takes victory here on Saturday night. We'll hope you'll come back and join us. Awards coming up here from Fort Worth in the $80,000 Lugano Diamonds FEI. And, all building up to that Longines FEI Jumping World Cup qualifier at 7:30, first horse on Saturday night here from the Will Rogers Memorial Coliseum and the Lugano Diamond Split Rock Jumping Tour, Fort Worth International. We hope you will join us then.
C. Jarvis Insurance is the leading international equine insurance agency in the world. Our team of professionals is here to assist you 24/7, and we offer worldwide coverage for all aspects of equine insurance. We are owned and operated by a family of horsemen, so you can rest assured that we have a pulse on the industry, and we'll look out for you every step of the way.
taking show jumping all over the United States, America throughout the show season. And again, taking the podium with the top honors, we have Chase Wiggins, Michael Ryman, taking the podium in second, and Andrew Ward's also representing Ireland on the podium for his third place finish this evening. Great photo there at the top three, competing in our Lugano Diamonds qualifying event here this evening. Great photo up. And we are going to honor our winning riders we customarily do in international competitions and all of our split rod tour winning classes with the national anthem of the country, Ireland. The winner, Shane Sweet aboard Qualifier for the country of Ireland here in our $80,000 Lugano Diamonds qualifying event for our $250,000 Grand Prix, our Longines FEI Jumping World Cup Fort Worth, coming up on Saturday night to wrap up the international jumping at this year's Fort Worth International. A big thank you to Aaron Davis, Heineke, and Zane Davis for joining us for the presentation, along with our split rod president, Victory Gallop, round of honor coming up for our top competitors to wrap up our activities. We'll have an interview coming up of our winning rider to wrap up everything here on our Thursday nights. Show jumping continuing here at Bill Rogers Arena tomorrow morning starting at 8 o'clock. Has saddled up for the round of honor to be led by our winner, Shane Sweet, aboard Arcabella. There's the lucky lady there with blue ribbon from our winner, Shane Sweet, aboard Arcabella, leading away victorious in our $80,000 Diamonds qualifying class for $250,000 Saturday night World qualifying here for
Thanks very much, Shane. Congratulations. We're going to have to start teaching people in Texas the words RLV, I think.
Oh yeah, for sure. Hopefully it's played again on Saturday night.
Absolutely, we'd make it 3 in a row as well. I don't know if you had followed that, but we've got 3 great riders here from Ireland, and you're all kind of in competition with each other plus everyone else, but you've got to be feeling confident the way particularly your 2 horses are going.
Yeah, my mare's young, so this is great experience for her. I'm not pushing too much pressure on her, but she jumped great tonight, so we'll see what she does Saturday.
And that'll be your ride for Saturday night?
Yeah, that'll be it, yeah.
But tell me, both of your horses here, 9 years old, it must be like running, I don't know, like I suppose a string of race horses. You've got your very experienced horses, you've got your 9-year-old. I mean, Sebastian Vettel doesn't have to drive his car for 4 years' time in the week between Grand Prix. Like, how much time and planning do you put into the schedule?
You know, like this string is building for next year, so, and you have to do that with horses, obviously. With cars you can change parts and stuff and wheels and whatever, but with horses they get older, so I'm lucky to have a good core and then to have these young ones coming along, and I think they'll do good things next year as well, so they have to learn their trade, and this is a great place to be.
And what do you feel, you know, what hints has Anderson Lima given us about the course he'll build on Saturday night?
Anderson's a top course designer, has so much experience, and I think he'll build like he did tonight, a good track, a fair track for everyone that's here, and hopefully it'll be great sport.
Congratulations. Well, we'll see you maybe back on this step one more time on Saturday night. Well done, Shane.
Cheers. Thank you. Hope so.
Yeah, congratulations, Shane. Thank you, JK, and that'll wrap it up here. We'll see you tomorrow morning. We start at 8 o'clock. Show jumping resumes.
Mau, tengo un plan. Mañana haces las pistas.
C. Jarvis Insurance is the leading international equine insurance agency in the world. Our team of professionals is here to assist you 24/7, and we offer worldwide coverage for all aspects of equine insurance. We are owned and operated by a family of horsemen, so you can rest assured that we have a pulse on the industry, and we'll look out for you every step of the way.